Guys, I'm Crystal Tantric Yogi, a certified Tantra yoga instructor and intimacy coach. I have been exploring and sharing sacred sexuality practices for over 10 years now, and I am so excited to be continuing my journey here in New York City. In this series, I invite you to come along with me on my adventures so you too can learn different ways to bring more excitement and pleasure into your intimate life. Welcome to my channel. Now let's go have some fun. Hey guys, it's Crystal Tantric Yogi. Welcome if you're new to my channel. I am a Tantra yoga instructor and intimacy coach, and today is Saturday, 2/26, August 23rd. And I almost didn't pick up my camera today because I was like, do I even feel like vlogging? But I was like, yes, I'm going to vlog, even if I don't feel like it. Because the reality is I literally talk to myself all the time. I'm like, and I should just be talking to the camera. So what's on my mind today is just the ups and downs, emotional ups and downs of being single. Like, I think we're living during a time of like evolution when it comes to like very significant evolution and transition when it comes to relationships, and it's because of all the technology and everything that's going on, from the introduction of smartphones to apps to social media, of course, and just the way we communicate has really shifted, I think, the way we connect. And to be an older millennial and being used to dating one way, and then now dating is like completely changed, and all the information and stuff, it's a lot. And I'm trying to enjoy this time in my life being single and stuff, but it's a lot because it's just a lot being single now. It's a lot to be in a relationship too, and that's why I'm always like, Crystal, enjoy being single, because when you get in a relationship, you know that's work too. And I've been in a relationship most of my adult life, so I'm really trying to enjoy it. But today is one of those days where I'm just like, ugh. Feel like also it's different for me because I do stuff that requires like you kind of to have a focus on relationships, because I talk about intimacy, I talk about sex, so a lot of that is relationship focused, and so that's what kind of makes it tough for me as well. I don't have to share, details of my personal life, but I kind of have to constantly explore healing around relationships because of what I do, because of Tantra and being an intimacy coach and things like that. I have to personally evolve and heal in those areas consistently in order to do a good job at what I do. So that's kind of what makes it tough too. So that's kind of just what's been on my mind. Like, today is one of those days where I'm like feeling a little like up and down about where I am currently as far as my love life is concerned. And I'm getting used to it. I'm at this stage in the game. I feel like I'm like doing pretty well, because I'm not like, oh, when am I gonna find the one, and da da da. I'm pretty confident. It's kind of a superpower to be able to be by yourself and be content. But at the same time, you have to be very self-reliant. And when you don't feel all that great, you kind of got to pull yourself up. But it's a good practice. It's a good practice to have. But it's a delicate balancing act between like being open and keeping your standards high and having good boundaries and having grace for people and grace for yourself and like navigating all of that. I think the other thing that's not talked about a lot too, which I feel like I'm experiencing as a woman and as an empath, is that because I'm in between relationships, meaning that I went through a breakup earlier this year, and now I'm not really dating, but I'm kind of open to dating and exploring. So it's an interesting place to be. And if you're an empath, like, I feel when people are in my aura, even when they are not around me. So I can kind of tell when people are sometimes thinking about me or things like that. I can just feel it. And so it's a very interesting place to be. And I'm kind of feeling all that and making sure I discern my own feelings from other people's feelings and all of that stuff. So it's it's a lot. And what I find is just going outside, being active, doing things that I love, putting my energy more in towards me helps. Like, remember, Crystal, you have goals outside of relationships and things that you want to do. But then it's like, again, you have to be balanced and you have to be open because you never know what might be around the corner. So, because I've, again, had dreams and all kinds of stuff about what might happen for me in the near future. So it's just a lot. So that's what I'm talking about this vlog. Sharing with you guys how I work through it. What's fun about this weekend is I'm going to go look for shoes, and then I'm going to go to Harlem tomorrow, hopefully to go to brunch if everything pans out well, which would be good for me because I have not really gone out in a very, very long time. So we'll be doing that, and I'll kind of take y'all along with me and just reflect on being single and maybe, I don't know, I guess some of the ways that I am coping through the emotions that I'm moving through, and maybe I'll find it relatable and helpful. So I want to show you guys my outfit. So this is my outfit for today. I've got like a little skirt, little Levi's denim skirt, dark wash, and a little top, a little belt, and my Doc Marten sandals. I wanted to put on my boots, but I'm like, I might be doing too much. I think the boots look a lot better though, and they give me a little bit of height. My legs look great in them, but I'm probably gonna just go out and like pick out some sandals. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to deal with the boots and be like, you know, towering over everybody today. So just a little comfortable look. I don't feel like doing a ton of shopping today, like running around, like going to Soho and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna go to downtown Brooklyn, probably pick out some really simple kitten heels in DSW because I just want some comfortable shoes that go with my little outfit for brunch tomorrow. So that's what I'm looking for. And then I'll be headed home. I'll probably do some cleaning because my apartment needs some deep cleaning. And yeah, so let's head out. All right, guys, just got back home from kind of being in the streets for a couple of hours, and it helped really clear my head. I have some really good things to share from my journaling that I think will help maybe you if you're struggling with emotions while you're single. Through my reflection, like I really was like, oh, things were just like clicking. So I'm gonna fix some dinner because I'm very, very hungry. And then I'll sit down and discuss some of the tools that I use that help me. And it was tools that I had, and then like reflection questions to help you reflect on like what's coming up and to help you process it. This is definitely just about done, so I think I'm going to take the shrimp out. Let's see. I think it is about done. I'm only taking the shrimp on one side, just because the salmon is going to be pretty spicy. Get it out of here. You don't want to fry it. Cook your shrimp too long. It's almost too long. And then put the salmon in the oven for like 5 minutes. I have found this to be the best way to cook salmon, where it not be like dry. Meaning like get you a really thick piece, cook it like a steak, a couple minutes on one side, a couple minutes on the other side, and then stick it in the oven for a couple minutes, and it's like chef's kiss. So I'm gonna finish dressing my salad, probably put a little cheese, tortilla chips that I've been eating this whole time because I'm starving, and then put my salad dressing on there, and I'll be done. Literally the fastest, healthiest dinner that I have eaten all the time since I've moved to Brooklyn, when I'm just by myself. Salmon should be about done. Ooh, smoke. I need to turn on the... It's good. On top here. And I'm not a chef. I don't know how to decorate my food, but I promise you it tastes good. The salad dressing. Give me a little poppy drink. I'm obsessed with these right now because for me they taste like soda. My son said they taste like a probiotic drink, but I haven't drank soda really in so long. It tastes like soda to me, so I love it.
Second only to the search for the perfect male is the search for the
Okay, so I finished eating. It was delicious. I'm feeling full and good. I'm just craving something sweet. I have a terrible sweet tooth, so I might go to a bakery after I finish filming this. But anyway, we're gonna close out today though with talking about some of the tools that I use. Like when I was talking about before, it's like, you know, being single can be extremely tough, and I know that there's a lot of people that are single and are struggling, you know, in the area of relationships, and I really want to enjoy this time, even though I don't plan to be single for like years and years and years. But I really, because I was married for 14 years and really have literally been in a relationship most of my adult life, and I don't have a problem with that. But what I realize is that these times of solitude, these times where like I get to just do things for me, it's such a precious time that I really want to enjoy it. And so I've been working very hard to try to make sure that I don't stay in my emotions of like the loneliness that loneliness brings. But I think that's also the beauty of being single. Like, instead of projecting that onto your partner or being distracted by like your partner, you can really focus on what is going on with you. So these are some things that I do, some tools that I use. First of all, just to address the emotions that may come up, because sometimes I feel lonely, sometimes I feel fear, sometimes I feel like frustration, you know, impatience, things like that. So when those feelings start to come up, even envy, you know, like, and not envy like on a high level, but just like you see other couples together and you kind of feel like, oh man, I wish that was me. When I get those feelings, the spectrum of feelings that kind of come in waves every now and then, these are some tools that I use. The first one is physical activity. I'm a very active girl, but I think that moving emotions through the body is so important, like not just through meditation, but actually physically exerting energy. Like, it just helps you release stagnant energy, helps you move around. For me, usually that means going to the gym, doing some cardio, lifting weights, or it could mean just like going for a walk or riding my bike. Today I took a bike ride. It was so beautiful outside. I'm like, I'm gonna do that again tomorrow because I just felt so much better. There's something about like just physically releasing things, and even if you don't have clarity during the physical activity or like even afterwards, you usually just feel a little lighter. But oftentimes I will feel, even the heaviest times, I will feel a little bit better, even if it's just because during those moments of physical activity, I'm not focused on like my emotions, I'm focused on like what I'm actually doing, and it helps keep me present. The second one is grounding outside. So now, of course, this can be hard if the weather is not great, but just like being in nature, especially when the weather is nice, and being outside, feeling the breeze, listening to the nature sounds, whether it be birds or, you know, the wind, or you know, just the sights and sounds of nature is like so healing, so grounding. And like seeing the sky and being around trees, it's just so peaceful. And if you can really like tune into Mother Nature, what I always think of Mother Earth is like literally like the ultimate mother. And it's like she's so big, she can carry whatever it is you're feeling. Like nothing is too much. So you can cry, you can jump, you can run, you can do whatever. Like you can send that energy back down to the earth. Mother Nature can handle it. But also I think I know for sure that there's just healing energy outside because it's where we come from. And so there's just not only a grounding and a centering that can happen from connecting with the earth, connecting with grass, dirt, things like that, because that's a part of our energetic body, that frequency, because we come from the earth. We literally are dirt and stars and things like that. But also because there's something about just feeling something bigger than yourself and like having gratitude for just being, like just taking up space and being in this place in time amongst all the other things, all the other living things that are. It's very kind of humbling, and to me it makes me feel invigorated, but it also makes me feel like I'm not alone. And that can take a while to sense that, but if you just go outside, sit by a tree, go by some water, especially watch the birds. And if you can't go outside, like being in nature, like it's just, I think I may have said this in a previous video, like it's just so grounding and it really helps with emotions that come up. Listening to music, that's the other thing that I do. Like I feel like actually music is probably the thing that can change your mood the quickest, and you can use it both ways. Like if you're feeling really angry, you can listen to some music that helps you release angry and that you can relate to, you know, when you don't have anybody to talk to and like express those emotions, and because it feels relatable and that can feel better. But also you can listen to music. So like I love listening to R&B love songs. Like that's what I'm listening to the majority of the time. But you can also listen to gospel music. But I like to listen to love songs because it reminds me that love does exist, and that the frequency in which the words and the melodies and the composition of the track, because it's intentional and it's about love, it's on a high frequency, the music, the words, and everything. So I feel like when you're vibrating with anything that has to do with compassion and love and kindness, like it's a higher vibration, and it just always helps me feel better, especially depending on if it's like neo soul or something that has like strings or, you know, like drums or something. It just like it just really relaxes my nervous system. Listening to jazz, like, but really, like, I like to listen to things that make me hopeful. And then the last thing that I use a lot is journaling. So I think that's an obvious one, just putting your thoughts down on paper, reflecting. And I also just think putting hand to paper does something to the brain that just makes you, I don't know, like relaxes you and makes you, I don't know, more introspective and self-aware. I think also what journaling does is which I just thought about this, is it helps you look at yourself from your higher self. So a lot of times when we're in things, we can't see the forest despite the trees, right? But when you write it out, it's kind of like you really are looking at yourself from here. So it's like you're here, but your mind is here. So it's like when you see the words on paper, you're literally looking down on yourself and you're like, oh, these are my thoughts and I am thinking this, and where is that coming from? Like it helps you process things a lot better. So those are the 4 main tools that I use. And the next thing I want to share is like questions that I ask myself to, like, you know, just get myself out of my head, basically. So some of the questions that I ask myself is, what emotion am I feeling and are they my own? So because I'm in transition, and I say transition of like, I'm completely broken up. I'm not going back and forth with my ex or anything like that. But there's a difference between like cutting people off, right, and being done, and when you've been with somebody so long, you have a kid with them, like energetically, I feel like sometimes that can take a while. So for instance, like when I got divorced, we were together for 14 years. We had 3 kids together. We literally built a life together. So when we divorced, it was over, but there still was like this transition of energy I felt like that had to close, and it's not just like one thing closing, it's like several cycles that kind of have to close of energy. And so, you know, especially if you've been making love with this person over and over again, and there's just a lot of intimate moments and energetic exchange that can come with the long-term relationships, and it's like you got to close those loops. And I don't think that happens overnight. That happens transitionally. Now, I think if you're going back and forth with somebody, trying to decide whether you want to go back and forth or not, then those energetic loops reopen. So, but because of that, a lot of times I feel like we will carry the energy and the emotions of our previous partner. And what I'm learning to do is like, okay, this anxiety that I'm feeling, is this something that I picked up from being around somebody that's really anxious? Because my last partner is still anxious and can be. And sometimes I will pick up on that, whether he's around me or if he's not. It can come from a text, it could be a phone call, it could be a past conversation that we had, something that I'm used to, and I'm like, okay, is this me or is this him? Sometimes it's stuff that I've picked up and I'm like, okay, this is not my natural nature. I need to let that go and be aware that I've just picked up some bad habits, that these patterns are not me. And then other times, if it is, you know, I go on to be like, okay, so what's the root cause of this? Like, why am I feeling this? And that can take a little bit of time. I talk to myself a lot and I go back and forth. And if I find myself projecting on others a lot, I'm like, okay, there's something else going on. Crystal, what are you afraid of? What is making you sad? What is making you feel this way? Because you have a lot more control over your life than what you are pretending to have right now. Why are you projecting things onto other people that aren't even here? And so I try to find the root cause. Maybe I'm afraid of being lonely. Maybe I'm afraid I'm never gonna find anybody. Maybe I feel like things are unfair and because they didn't come out as planned, you know, or they're not going as planned, or this is not what I expected. And just having compassion for like where I am and like being like, okay, like this is why you're feeling this. So let's, you know, breathe through it and know that eventually, you know, maybe add some positive affirmations to believe that things can change. I can change my life for the better. Things that I don't want or things that I want to come into my life. Like, let's make a plan. Let's project, you know, positive things that could possibly happen. A lot of times I will be frustrated because I feel like things are out of my control. And I will ask myself that, because that's one thing that I struggle with. And I think that definitely has to do with childhood trauma. When I am alone, because I'm not used to being alone, oftentimes I will be frustrated because, you know, like when you're in a relationship, you kind of have a little bit more influence on what people do. But when you are not in a relationship, and if you are calling to hang out with somebody, you're texting them and they have a whole nother life and you don't even know what's going on with them. And so if you're used to things being automatic or coming really quickly or being catered to, and then that's not happening because it's a unique situation, I have found for me that sometimes that can be a struggle, and I have to remind myself, like, are you trying to control something that's not meant to be controlled? You know, and are you giving up on something because you can't control it? I have to often ask myself that question, and sometimes it is, you know, and I never thought of myself as a controlling person, but what I realize is that when you're in a relationship and you've been in a relationship for a while, there are certain things that you just get used to, whether it's having somebody to talk to, knowing where they are, somebody constantly checking on you, you checking on them, like your lives fully integrated. And then when you're single, you don't have that. And when you're interacting with people, socializing, like it can feel frustrating because you're used to that comfort that you no longer have. But you're like, wait a minute, you have to remember, like, people have their own lives and you don't know everything that's going on in them. So, and that's a part of experiencing something new. So I'm like, okay, this is a new feeling. You know, this is a new way of interacting with people, and maybe I just need to get comfortable with being triggered because I no longer have the comforts that I used to have, and I have to get used to this new energy, this new way of being, and also just the unknown, right? Like, when you're meeting new people and you're by yourself and you don't know their behaviors, their mannerisms, you don't know what's going on in their life. Also, your life has changed as well. So you have to get used to the little nuances of being single and what that means and what it feels like, and being easily triggered by things, not because something's wrong with you, but just because it's new. It's completely different way of living that you're not used to. And so sometimes that's it, and that's why the emotions come up, you know. The other question that I ask myself is, what is the most positive outcome of whatever situation has got me, you know, fearful or made this emotion come up? So once I realize that the emotion is mine, and then I realize what the root cause of it and why I'm feeling frustrated. Usually it's because it feels like something is out of my control, or I'm experiencing something new. So it's triggering some type of little, you know, childhood wound that's still trying to heal. I try to think of what is the most positive outcome. If I haven't heard from somebody that I texted in a while, like, let me project probably, you know, the most positive thing that could happen, or let me project the most positive reason for why that might be. If I'm feeling lonely because I'm in a restaurant by myself or whatever, I'm walking by myself and I'm seeing couples and things come up in me and I'm getting frustrated, and it's like, Crystal, think about the most positive outcome for yourself. Oh, you know, I'm alone, I'm learning things, and I heal, and then eventually I will meet the person that I'm supposed to be with, or I will heal so much and develop so much that I will come up with really great ideas. I'll be able to invest in myself and my business will grow, and just whatever it is that I want to happen, focus more on that than the unknown and the feelings once I realize what those feelings are. The other thing that has really helped me lately is taking a subjective perspective on my life, where I just like take inventory of like what's actually going on, because we sometimes, especially I think as women, I hate to say this, but sometimes we are immature in that we think life is a lot harder on us than what it is. Not saying that life is not hard for women, and Black women especially, but sometimes I think because of social media and because of algorithms and AI, like, it will tell us what we want to hear. Like, I don't know how many times I've heard about, like, you know, the discourse between Black men and women, or men and women in dating, and how, you know, men just don't respect or get excited about women like they used to, and all this other stuff, like all kinds of stuff. And when you are single and you're out there, it can feel like that. But what I had to do, especially with what I've gone through recently with my ex and having a baby and all that stuff, is I had to like really take inventory of like what I've actually experienced in my life. It's like, okay, yes, someone broke up with me and I became a single mom unexpectedly. Yes, my father was not in my life. Yes, like, there's a lot of little things that have happened to me over the years, but I also think of like, but my father was my #1 fan when I did get to know him. I've had lots of men invest in my business. I'm constantly being treated like I'm a princess and been told I'm beautiful, like, by random men. Like, there's a lot of positive energy coming my way from men all the time. So that's just an example, but it could apply to any area in your life. Oh, you want to lose weight, or you want to do that. Think about all the things that you've accomplished. If you feel like a failure, like, but I did this, and when I was in 7th grade, and then when I was in high school, and then when I was in college, I did this, and then I got this job. Like, remember all the positive things that have gone on, and really take inventory on, like, is what you're worried about really even realistically likely to happen? Like, what has really happened in your life? And that usually helps me a lot. And if it's something that you feel like you keep going through and you are experiencing something bad, then that means there's just a pattern that needs to change. And then there's, you know, reevaluation of boundaries, and maybe expectations, and and decision making on your part that you need to change. So that's the other thing that you can do when you are taking inventory of your life. And then the last thing is, which may be controversial to some, is like, I use oracle cards, I use tarot cards, I use affirmation cards, and those are very, very, very helpful to me. One of the most powerful things we have as human beings is intuition, and all of us have some type of like psychic ability and inclination to see past the physical reality. Unfortunately, in our society, there's so much emphasis put on the physical reality and masculine energy and logic that we lose our intuition and our creativity when it can be so much more expansive and help us. I started off using goddess affirmation cards, and that helped me develop my intuition. Now, I would not say that if like you don't feel comfortable with working with any kind of oracle cards or things like that, you probably should not. But I would also say that you need something to help you develop your intuition, and that is huge. Like being able to reach out to something higher than yourself, tap into your higher self, so that when you get these messages, you have something to counteract them. So my memory card is about to go out, so I'm going to stop here, because I think I gave you guys a lot of information that you can use. And then I think I'm gonna go to the bakery. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow as I kind of get ready to go to brunch. I haven't been to brunch in probably like a year or two. I'm really excited, going in Harlem with a friend. I might film a little bit of that, and then that should end the vlog. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hey guys, so it is Sunday morning, and I've been up for a little while, just reflecting a lot, kind of lounging in the bed, and I had such great epiphanies and I wanted to share. So I personally have been having a lot of dreams lately, and sometimes with my dreams, when they're significant, I feel like I'm being sent a message. Other times I feel like I am being shown what is to come for me in this lifetime and with this consciousness. And then sometimes I think I'm being shown other options that I'm living, like different realities. And lately I feel like that's what I've been dreaming. I feel like I've been shown myself in other realities, and it's like I'm timeline jumping. It's like, in this reality I'm doing this, in this reality I'm doing this, and I had a dream like that last night. And then I woke up this morning and I was kind of scrolling TikTok. I don't always do that, but I don't know, sometimes intuitively I feel like, let me get online and just see what's going on. And I did get a couple of messages that resonated with me. One video, this girl was explaining quantum leap, and it resonated with me so much because I feel like I've been having dreams lately about experiencing from a bird's eye view, like witnessing myself and also like living it in the dream, witnessing myself experiencing different realities. And I think I was wondering why I was having these experiences. And I think it's because Spirit is trying to teach me I can choose what I want to experience. And that resonated with me because, especially in the TikTok video, she was like talking about like, if you want to get from one reality to the next, don't think about it in a physical way. Think about it more as like your consciousness channeling the frequency of the next reality you want to experience. She didn't explain it like that, but basically she didn't use those words. But that's the gist of what she was saying, and at least that's what I got out of it, the biggest thing I got out of it. And so this morning I really started to think about, what is my future self doing? How is she living? What, you know? And then I realized, you know, as a manifester, if I start thinking about what my future self is doing, basically I'm telling the universe what I want to experience next. And that really hit me home, because I was like, am I ready? Am I really ready to be in a relationship? Do I want to be single? Am I ready to leave this space? And it made me realize how many fears I had around like what I actually want. It's like, do I want that? And I decided that I do. I decided that I wanted everything. I want the relationship. I want to be an individual. I want to have a business. I want to have a great family. And it's okay to want those things. I don't have to necessarily sacrifice one for the other. And it's okay even to be in certain spaces and times and experiences for a short amount of time, because it's not about how long you stay somewhere, because time is really an illusion. It's more about what you get out of the moment. So what it made me realize is that a lot of times I cling and attach to things because I'm afraid of not only what's coming, but I'm afraid of losing the experience that I have. And that's the beauty and the, I guess the hard part of like moving on, right? And change. Like, you do lose certain things when you move on to different experiences. But I think what we often don't think about is that life is about experiences, having a variety of experiences. And if you hold on to what you feel like you are losing, you won't get to experience something new. So I thought about it in this way, like if you have a great piece of cheesecake, because that's like my favorite dessert, like, yes, I could keep eating cheesecake all the time, every day. Go to my favorite bakery, eat the cheesecake all the time. But then if I do, I could be missing out on a different type of cheesecake or a different bakery or a different dessert that I might love just as much, and is a different experience. Yes, it's great to have a great experience, but it's even better, in my opinion, to have more great experiences, because that allows you to grow and evolve, and you can actually share a different set of knowledge, tools, wisdom with those around you when you have different experiences. It also taught me that, like, in real time, like, not just, I know this, but I felt it even stronger, just having gratitude for like the moment and the people that are in your moment, whether they did you good, bad, or whatnot. But just having like a great appreciation for where you are, because it's going to change, especially if you know you're not going to cling on to it, because you want to experience new and different things. And when it comes to relationships, I thought, wow, I have always been clinging on to this idea of wanting to be appreciated. I think a lot of women do. I think a lot of people do. We want to be seen, we want to be appreciated. My mind has finally shifted. Like, I feel like in this moment, in this morning, that I'm not worried about being appreciated anymore. I'm not worried about being seen anymore. What I want my legacy to be is for people to feel that I had a great gratitude for living, and I had a great appreciation for anybody that came and was a part of my experience. Like, that's what I want to be remembered for. And I believe what you give out is what you get. So people are going to appreciate being appreciated, and they're going to appreciate me, and they're going to appreciate the experience with me. And I'm not doing it for that. I realize how precious every moment is. Good experiences, bad experiences, like, it's all about the human experience in general. And so in my relationships and being single, married, whatever, like, I just want to continue to be open to new experiences and be able to really appreciate the people that are coming in and out of my life, and my future self. And I just, like, that's my future self is like greatly appreciative of every experience that she's having. And because of that, she's around people that appreciate her too, and around experiences that allow her to continue to build gratitude, you know, in wonderful ways, even through the new challenges that she has. And the new challenges are going to be probably a little scary, but they'll also be exciting because they'll be new. So I hope you found, you know, that little nugget of knowledge inspirational. It just gives me so much peace, and I'm hoping that it gives you peace too, about no matter where you are in your relationship journey. I just have so much peace. The sun's coming out now. I just have so much peace about where I am, because I know I won't be here long. And so I'm just thankful for everything I'm learning, and I look forward to my future self, because I know my future self is like in an amazing relationship, but also knows how to incorporate the individuality of like being single and taking care of herself and not being controlling, and just kind of going with the flow, having healthy boundaries, living her own life, and pouring into herself, but also like being so appreciative of the person that she's with, that there's just like an equal exchange and there's a good balance. And I know my business is doing well. I even got, last night I cleaned my apartment, and then I got up and cleaned again. If you have noticed my vlogs, like my apartment used to be so clean all the time before I had a kid, and I'm just now starting to like come back into myself, and I'm like, you know what, my future self lives in a clean apartment. So it's hard to keep it clean with a toddler and living in such a small space and trying to organize things, but I told myself I'm going to work very, very hard to channel my future self in every way possible. So yeah, so I am about to go on with the rest of my day. I'm going to go for probably a bike ride, and then I've got to leave for Harlem probably around 11:45-ish, between 11:30 and 11:45, because I got to be there around 1, and it's going to take me an hour to get there and go to brunch, and I guess we'll see where the day takes us. And yeah, and then I'll probably close out the vlog on that end.